You're listening to The Bird Bath. Welcome back to The Bird Bath. Each week we scrape the surface of the news you need to know, so let's get into it. Kicking us off this week is $350 million. Thrive Pet Healthcare has secured new financing providing $350 million of enhanced liquidity to, quote, drive future growth. This story was something that's been brewing for the past couple weeks, or even longer, I guess, if you're inside the organization. But a couple weeks ago, there was some murmurs on some of the funding and finance groups here talking about negotiations and the need for Thrive to find additional capital or enhanced liquidity in order to be able to create a stronger financial foundation and keep TSG Consumer Partners, who's their financial partner or their owner of the group, happy. So the press release here came out, and it's something that really talks about extending the deadlines. The underpinnings of this are that Thrive is now $350 million richer and has more in the, calling it business words, the war chest to be able to start growing and expanding what they're doing. And they also structured it to be able to extend their debt deadlines while making sure that TSG and Thrive are pushing in the same direction here. Now, the reason why this money was important is some reports were showing that the EBITDA for Thrive was down 18%. They had some missed revenues figures, and then recently Moody's, which does the debt ratings for businesses, actually slapped them with a negative outlook. Their debt was actually out on the market and currently trading at around 80 to 81 cents per dollar, which when you look at that, it means that their current debt holder, TSG, was not bullish on the outcome of that full $1 billion debt that they own being paid back in full. It seems like they've maybe turned a corner here and found that putting another $350 million behind the team is something that could allow them to right the ship, bring up the revenue targets, and really do a lot of things. It's definitely a pressure relief valve for the team at Thrive, and one that we should expect to see them really capitalize. So for everyone at Thrive and all of their teams, we wish you all the best of luck and hope that you find a strong performance for the coming year. Another group that's looking to hopefully right the ship is Inspire Veterinary Partners. They just raised a $2 million via a registered direct offering, which is basically saying that they found someone that was willing to purchase $2 million of shares. The investor is going to get about 1.1 million shares plus 2 sets of warrants, which are kind of like coupons or future bills to be able to purchase that could bring in an additional $4 million if they decide to use them. The thing is, though, the shareholders have to approve that these investors can purchase these. So the shares, when they were priced in this deal, were at $1.83, which is a premium over IVP's stock price that they've been over the past month or so. They've been trending downward since the day they went public. And the idea here is that this money is going to allow them to fuel more acquisitions of vet hospitals. And they actually just put out a note that they were acquiring a practice in Florida and a lot of activity here. So hopefully this means that they're going to be able to turn the ship around and really bring Inspire to the business that I know a lot of people are hoping and wanting it to be. The negative here, the tough part, is that 1.1 million shares is going to cause some real dilution amongst some already disgruntled shareholders in the business. That's definitely something that needs to happen, and it's definitely something that the company with a little bit over a $2 million market cap would be significantly diluting their overall stake. But at the current stage, the availability of capital and the ability to continue acquisitions with a positive outlook and hopeful positive outlook for people that do have equity in the parent company would hopefully be able to see something great come here. There was an interesting hire announced by Evette. Now, if you're remembering the name Evette, you might have remembered them as VetIQ, or you might remember them as the company last November that stepped in some hot water. Maybe that's the nice way to put it. They stepped in something. And what they stepped in was the CEO on veterinary forums pretending or catfishing, if you want to use that term, as a real DVM and utilizing a lot of private and very well-respected and trusted spaces for veterinarians and veterinary team members to discuss the difficulties that they were having, and they were using it as a recruiting tool. Well, during all of that time at Evette, there was not a full-time DVM on staff at the company. Well, Evette has shifted the tides there to announce that they've appointed their first ever internal DVM. Dr. Eric Mueller, who's now the Vice President of Clinical Operations, joins the team. He comes to them with a lot of experience. He worked as a veterinarian in a lot of different practices. He has successfully run some mobile operations. He was a practice owner. He sold his practice to Southern Veterinary Partners and now is available and dove in with Evette. Now, this is going to be interesting. I'm going to be super curious to see what the online presence for Dr. Mueller is. We've not had the chance to meet, and as with anyone that we talk about on the show, I'm always happy to have you and learn more about you, so reach out. But the thing that will be really interesting is that the veterinary voice was something that was co-opted by the Evette company with their online presence. And now that they do have a DVM on staff, I'll be really interested to see how that goes. Dr. Mueller said, "I'm thrilled to join Evette in this new role to address critical issues that myself and many other veterinary professionals have faced, like staffing shortage and clinical competency. I've seen gaps in the space from both a medical and professional perspective, and I look forward to optimizing Evette's capabilities, offering a solution no one else has delivered in a way that will face the veterinary industry's pain point head on." So best of luck. I hope that this is a turning of tides. I think maybe that's what this episode is about, the turning of tides and the shift from where companies have been to where they want to see in the future. And so best of luck to Dr. Mueller and his participation with Evette. And I hope that it is nothing but green pastures and positive outlooks for everyone. If you're looking for green pastures, man, could I do a better job of tying these together? A company that a lot of you know is offering out a really great opportunity for new graduates. Banfield, the Mars Veterinary Health Company, is investing to support the next generation of veterinarians by, listen closely, covering the final year of tuition for 2025 DVM graduates joining the company full-time. This is something pretty crazy. It's something that there's been a lot of talk about signing bonuses and tuition reimbursement and recruiting tools, but Banfield is stepping up in a really big way here. What they're doing is anyone that is a class of 2025 graduating DVM student that accepts a full-time position, and full-time is 30 plus hours with a 3.5 schedule factor. No idea what that means, but here you go. And starts employment by September 5th, 2025. Banfield will cover their final year tuitions. What they do, there's obviously a lot of little stars here, but they must have graduated from an accredited university recognized by the U.S. Department of Education. International students studying abroad are not eligible. Eligible participants may also participate in the existing Banfield Student Debt Relief Program, which contributes up to $450 a month in student debt relief payment. They still are eligible for sign-on bonus. They're eligible for the new graduate stipends, along with all of these other things. It's a really cool opportunity. It's something that Banfield is also talking about making available for folks and for new graduates that have already accepted roles prior to this announcement coming out. So if you are new at Banfield, if you're a new graduate, if you're looking for somewhere to work, and student debt's a big component of your decision-making process, Banfield is doing something really big to try and shake up some of their recruiting tools. Another great opportunity if you are a new graduate is taking part in Ready Vet Go's July mentorship cohort. Enrollment begins today, April 1st, or it's happening right now if you're listening to this in the future. But you have the opportunity now to be able to enroll in an incredible mentorship program that gives new graduates the resources, the mentorship, and the structure to set themselves up for a long-term career. There's an early bird bonus starting now. If you enroll before April 30th, you can save 10% with the code JULYEARLYBIRD. And so go to the website, check out ReadyVet Go. I'll put a link in the bio as well as tag the team here. And you've got from now until May 31st to get set up and running in this July cohort. Something that I know a lot of the team that teaches these courses, mentors people, and participates in this are massively, massively dedicated to making sure that this is something that every single student and every single mentee leaves with a lot of new education and resources to be able to be successful in our industry. Finally, something that I think is really, really cool, and I'm super glad to see this back, but the PAW Act was introduced by Congresswomen Deborah Ross and Claudia Tenney. It's a bipartisan bill that's set to expand pet insurance access by making veterinary expenses eligible for HSA and FSA dollars. This was something that had been introduced to Congress before, but they've come back, they've refined some of the language, and they've made sure that it's something that continues to give people the opportunity to do this. So they had to update some of the language around service animals to include those trained both for physical and mental disabilities. And as many know, I'm not going into politics here. It's a bipartisan bill. But the idea here that was interesting was that by having this just be something that's eligible for HSA and FSA contribution limits, the PAW Act would aim to minimize their impact on federal expenditures while still improving pet care affordability. Congresswoman Tenney said, "Pets and service animals are valued members of our families and lives, with many benefits including increasing our lifespan, reducing stress, and promoting physical activity. It's important we ensure pet owners can afford quality care. The PAW Act allows pet owners to use HSA and FSA dollars for veterinary care, ensuring all pet owners can keep their beloved pets and service animals healthy." I'm really excited to see this. I hope it's something that does come through. If you're somebody that likes to put your name out there and participate in the conversation around these, if you're not a doctor, even if you are a doctor, whoever you are, reach out to your local representatives so that they know that this is something you want to see. It's something I think would be beneficial, not just for pet owners to be able to improve the availability of funds to care for their animals, but I think it would also be an interesting opportunity for us as an industry to see the availability of additional revenue sources that can come into the clinic. As I talked about a couple weeks ago too, if you're a veterinarian and you like or you're interested in participating in these conversations that are happening in Congress or in Washington or at your local level, even super local level, make sure to check out the ASPCA vet team. It's the veterinary engagement team. It's a really cool way for people to stay involved in what's happening around policy in our government, as well as in our own regulations and the way that we get to interact with animals throughout our world. One more final plug here for the bird bath itself. If you're enjoying the show and you know others that are, the bird bath is open to sponsorship opportunities. We're opening our calendars for the rest of 2025 to allow folks that want to get out their new company, their new business, their new program, or their new ideas out to the incredible, incredible listeners much like yourself. If you or your company want to participate and sponsor the bird bath, reach directly out to me at hello@thebirdbath.io or send me a message on LinkedIn or on email or call me, text me, knock on my front door. Any way you want to find me, I bet you can. And for more on these and other stories, join us by subscribing to our Substack. There's always a link in the bio, and don't miss out on any episodes by subscribing and rating the show. For The Bird Bath, I'm Ryan Leach. See you next week.